Kanban events, right? I think this can be a very debatable topic because many organizations, many companies, many authorities of this Kanban talk it in a different way. There are no mandatory events. There is no 100% mandatory event in Kanban. Given said that, many companies adapt few of the events that is useful for their teams, right? The team can choose its own events. Team can say, we don't want this, we want this. But these are the few events that we thought would make sense in a team and would add value to the team. So given said that, Jishan, why don't we talk about the replenishment? There's a new terminology from, Kanban. People might have already listened what daily stand-up, review, and retrospective, what we will talk about, but replenishment, why don't you give it up? Time.
So sometimes people are trying to make some similarity with like a sprint planning. And people are trying to do some sort of one-on-one mapping. Okay, replacement is something like a sprint planning, but it is not exactly true. You can do some similarities, but the thing is, replacement is we are trying to do the work on the order and the sequence of the things in which order we want to work on the things, because there is definitely lots and lots of items are always coming, and ideally we want to work on all of those items, but we know that we cannot. And usually I give the examples, and the example is, I hope you can see me on the screen. Just let me know if you can see me on the screen. I will give a very simple demonstration. So I have this pen and I can hold only this pen, this much pen in my hand. If I have to squeeze something into my hand, something else has to go out.
Wow.
Can you see that?
Yep.
So that is actually all the trade-off and all the discussion we are having. Okay, in what order we want to work on the things, what thing is important. All the things are high priority, but if there are 10 things are high priority and we are supposed to work only 5 out of 10, depends on our constraint, then which order we want to work on those things.
Right. So Jishan, if you have to connect replenishment with one word, can we call it a prioritization meeting, if you want?
We can call it, but sometimes with the prioritizations, people are thinking the notation that my thing is not important or my thing is not high priority. So instead of prioritization, I will use the word the ordering. I know this is important, but in which order you want to work on these things. Someone mentioned the WSJF. WSJF is one way, but not the only way. There are lots and lots of other ways. I just mentioned the class of service at the beginning. Class of services, one way of doing the class of service is the cost of delay, but it can be Kano, it can be Moscow, it can be WSJF, and it can be a lot of different things. And to be technically correct, SAFe actually adopts the WSJF. WSJF was there even before the SAFe.
Right. So these are all the prioritization techniques that we are talking about, right? So replenishment, we do prioritization, and the WSJF and all the techniques that we spoke are about prioritization techniques that we can use it. So that moves us to, once we have planned and we said, okay, we have prioritized things, then we have to make sure that we are on track every day on what we are doing, right? So that's when the daily stand-up comes into place. That's when we say, hey, every day in the morning or every day in the noon, whichever time makes sense. Vivek, mute yourself. Okay, that's funny. Anyways, okay, the daily stand-up, right? So that's once we prioritize things, we come forward to start working on it, right? So that's when we, every day in the morning, the team that's actually doing the work comes together and talk about the progress on work, what's happening. Don't make it a status meeting where you report to your project manager or a scrum master telling that, hey, scrum master, I've been doing this. Okay, no, at all. It's not a status call. It's where the team, the knowledge workers, the team who is actually doing the work comes together to talk about how their progress is going to achieve the work that they have committed or forecasted to committed to. It's your meeting, right? So Jishan, what do you want to add on this stand-up?
I just want to add one thing, because we have to keep an eye on the time. So this is pretty much an opportunity to team to align themselves. If someone needs the help from someone, if someone discover the dependency or something like that. So this is an opportunity for a team to do the alignment.
Yep, awesome, fantastic. Review is where you inspect and adapt, right? You worked on something, you work it for your customer, your stakeholder, for someone. You have to make sure you review what you have completed, how are we performing as a team, what are we doing as a team, right? Dishan, review, what do you think? Again, like I said, most of these things we already know, and then we said these are not mandatory, but it's good to have events if you guys decide as a team we want these events, right? So we're not going to spend lots of time here because these are not core events. These are some things that we adapt from multiple areas. So review, Jishan, what do you think? Review, what do you
Okay, so without having anything, getting feedback from the customer, again, we are going to repeat the same things. It is not inspect and adopt. We are not doing the agile, and we will not deviate our differences. There is a possibility that we might develop something and keep doing this thing, but the end of the day, we discover that this is not what the customers needs. Customer might need something different. So that is why we need the continuous check at the regular cadence to show to the customers that, okay, this is what they need. If they want to make any adjustment, we can do it accordingly.
Yep. So retrospective is a time where we inspect and adapt our whole process and we continuously improve. We make sure that we do the process in a right way, and we have to make sure we have do any mistakes. The time for us to discuss, improve as a team and talk as a team and change the processes, tools, techniques that we use to ideally deliver value sooner or cut down the waste or improve the process, cut down the time, right? So given said that, so there's a comment, Jishan, on the chat. It says more details.
I saw that there is one question, and let me give you one example related to that one. And the example is about the replenishment. That let's suppose take a look at the emergency ward of the hospital. So in the emergency ward of the hospital, there are lots and lots of patients are coming. So the nurse at the emergency ward, the nurse is going to decide which particular patient is important to pull right now. So it needs a treatment. Just imagine if one person goes there with just a little bit toenail fracture, and another person goes there with a lot of bleeding. Who is going to be pulled? So that is what is going to be decided, who is going to be pulled first. And they have the criteria. I'm not a medical expert, but in one literature I was reading that they have a criteria of the 5 levels of the different priorities. Some hospital might have more, some hospital might have a less, but maybe you will, triaging, you can get the triaging. So maybe you will have an idea that how they are going to pull the customer and which order they are going to pull the customer or the work. In this particular case, the work. Does it make sense?
Yep. So one point. So if you have a lots of work that's coming into your board, your customer, your team, you cannot work on everything because not everything adds value to the customer. As a team, you come together to look into the backlog that you have and say, this is the most important things that we have to do in the next few days, months, weeks, whatever things that you want to do, right? It's a place where you meet and prioritize and order the work that you have, depending upon the value that can be delivered, depending upon the cost of delay, could be any kind of things that you do as a team.